So welcome back, everybody. Hope you're having a really great afternoon, early evening. A little earlier today, I started this cute little drawing and painting for a part one, and it's called Lilacs and Hummingbirds. So this is going to be part two, and hopefully we will finish this in part two. So I'm going to be doing, whoops, drop my, there we go. I'm going to be doing more wet on wet for this. So we're going to start out with, I don't think I had enough water on there. Okay. So we're just going to put some blue around here. And then, you know, water it down a little more. And see where we go here with this. Got a couple of different blues going on. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but, you know, I'm going to try to get it done here in this number two. I thought it was a really pretty, and I love hummingbirds. I just absolutely love them. I love birds, period. But hummingbirds have their own, you know, they're kind of special little way about them. And that was one size of a brush. Now I want to get a very round brush. I want to get a very small one here because I'm going to do the, a little bit of blue with that as well. I want to do the beak. And I need a very, very nice smaller brush with a nice beak. And then we're going to do the eye as well. Whoops, that had a little too much water in it there. It's okay. There we go. Kind of spread where I didn't want it right there, but that's okay. We'll go with it. Not that big of a deal. So the eye came out a little bit bigger than what I wanted it. So I'm going to try and, for whatever reason though, this paper will not let me take out color like other watercolor and other hot press, because this is hot press. I love working with hot press paper. But I think we can make it all work. They all just end up being happy accidents. Right? Right. Okay, yeah, so far, yeah, so this is fine. Okay, that works out. I go back to my other round brush, and I really kind of need to have that blue a bit darker there. For the very top of the head, I need to get some, without messing up what I just did with the eye, I need to get this a bit darker here. Hopefully my voice sounds a little bit better than it did in the number one. Just kind of ignore my voice in number one. I was really very tired, much more tired than I thought. I actually took a nap. But I was trying to get number one done, but I didn't, my allergies were terrible at that moment, so I didn't talk much. I didn't want to have much talking in it. And I sound half asleep, but that's okay. Just forget that and just watch the video, you know. Don't focus on my voice and how ridiculous that sounded. Okay? Hopefully I'll sound a lot better in this one. All right, now we're going to come over here. We're going to get in this. This is like a darker Well, it's like blue, but then it's a lot darker blue, so we're gonna get just in some of these areas right here. And back up here, because it was places where it was just really a lot darker. Well, I was going to do more. Well, I guess this the bird is going to basically be some wet on wet and some wet on dry. I guess that's how this is going to work out, because that seems to be the way it's working out. You never know, and it's okay to never know. Okay, so we're gonna come down in here and pull some of that up. It's kind of darker right in there, so we'll add some of that. Taking some of that color out because I needed a little bit lighter area right here that I sort of lost. Okay, and then with our trusty little, gotta put the white of the eye back in there. Birds and animals, their eyes are so important to me. I mean, they just give so much expression, the eyes of an animal or a bird, you know? So I like to kind of get it a little better than what it comes out sometimes. Go back in and just gonna kind of pull some of this color out and down to fill these feathers first. And then go back in for some darker ones. And this is the way I'm making the bird. You know, you may make it completely different when you do your own, which of course is exactly the way it should be. Some darker right in there. Going to have some darker lines and some lighter lines. Okay. And we'll have some variations of the blue color here. Actually meant to get some of this pretty color in. A little bit too. All right, and then I'm going to clean that off. I'm going to come in here to this body, this part of the body. And I'm going to get some orange and some burnt sienna. A little bit of red. That was a little too much red. All right, and we're just gonna kind of, whoop, that's too much red. Oh dear, okay, we gotta get that out of there. Hold on, I Didn't know I had that much on my brush, and that was a little too wet with water. Sorry about that, folks. All right, and then we'll come back in with these colors here. Oh, birds are just so beautiful. They are just so beautiful. And it's okay with whatever color that, just, you know, do what you like. I'm doing what I like. And I'm using some Indian yellow right here because I love that color. And then I actually do need to go back in with some red and brown. Right in here. It's got some darker, really darker areas. Ooh, he's coming out pretty. I don't know if there's, I always have said that I loved horses, which I absolutely do, and that they were, oh, well, we're having all kinds of happy accidents here. Oh my gosh, too funny. I'll get a little bit of dark in there. Not too much of that, though. I don't want too much of that going on. All right, we're going to come back to this color. A little more of that. And some yellow. And this Indian yellow and yellow are acrylic. They're the acrylic part that I do of this. And the white. Oh, that's pretty, actually came out nice. And we're going to wet the feathers down here. And go into the blue. I know hummingbirds can be so absolutely gorgeous in their colors. We used to have, where I lived before my husband died and so forth, where we lived, we had a family of hummingbirds. And they are just, I mean, they are beautiful birds and fascinating birds to watch. All birds are fascinating to me, but a hummingbird is extra fascinating. They just have that extra special something. Fantastic the way they fly and at the speed in which they fly. It's incredible. And the length of, you know, when they go to warmer climates in the winter. I mean, I can't remember now, but I mean, it's this incredible length of, you know, flight that they do. I mean, that's just crazy. But they're birds, and birds are amazing. As I said, I don't want to spend too much time on the bird, but I wanted to get a good enough time amount in here. A little bit of, I like to have a paper towel in my hand so that, and I just want to wipe some of the, and I just wiped out my white. I'm not sure why I just did that. So I'm going into my acrylic white because I didn't want to do that. I'm not, my hand got carried away, I guess. So I don't want to do that. All right, let's go back here. Well, gee, that's not what I wanted to happen. Okay, get some of this orangey color back in there, and this orange, kind of bright orange. Okay. And of course, this is the way I see it, the bird. So you might, you know, do it, see it, and find one, and or even this painting and do it in completely different, which is entirely up to you. Entirely up to you. There we go. I'm going to get a little more white. Dab it in there. Make it look like fur as well. So I think that's okay. The acrylic white can make some nice accents, as you can see that I'm doing here. If you just didn't get in your whites, you're leaving the white paper, which I'm good in some areas. It was one of the hardest things for me to get used to at the beginning. And I'm good at it now. It depends on what I'm painting, though. Sometimes, like this, I'm so focused on some of the other things that I miss it. I miss the, you know, the white, leaving the white of the paper. So I either use a gouache white, mostly I use an acrylic white, and sometimes I do use and have the, what do you call it? Watercolor white. It just depends. Right now I need to go back to my really tiny brush here. And we need to reestablish around the eye again, because that needs to really be there. It needs to I need to make sure that I get around the eye quite close, get it good, because that's important. Like I said, the eyes of animals and birds, to me, is really, really important that it's done correctly, or you get that in there, you know, because their eyes are just so striking. It's like one of the first things I see when I see an animal, you know, when I look at a picture of an animal, is their eye. Okay, we've just got some highlights here and there. And then we want to come back to his little feet. I'm going to have some brown and sepia, mix it in with a blue color. A little more brown. So you can see some brown in there. I can't see too much, I guess. All right, try it again. Okay. I might reestablish the okay, I think that's good for the eye. I think it's really nice, really pretty. I'm just trying to think of what else I want to put in here. Oh, actually, I see a leaf I didn't get to right up at the top here. No harm, no foul. I just put it in. All right. I think I can lighten up some of these highlights on these ones over here. Yeah, that's better. Such a beautiful bird. Well, I think, folks, except for the fact that I'm going to wet my brush and go into my purple if I can find it. There we go. Wet my brush and a little bit around by this flicking motion here. Around the, a little bit of white in that as well. Around the lilacs here, I want to get a little bit of additional, you see what I'm saying, additional dots, just for the little added touch around the lilacs. Yeah. Well, I see something else I want to go back to the white again. Where was I? Right about around here. I need to establish that to be a little bit whiter than the white around it. Just in that little spot. And right around the beak. I love using these really tiny brushes with a good tip, you know. Then I want to add some, there we go, lighter, right, some places here. And I have to establish a little bit of darker right in this area. Bring that out. Just don't want to ruin what I've done, because we can do that with painting. Acrylic's the same way. You can be going and doing it all, and you think you're almost done, and you get to that place where you're pretty much done, and then you go in and sometimes you ruin it. Watercolor you can't fix quite so easily. Acrylic is much easier to fix if that happens, but it's really difficult with watercolor. You really, that really doesn't come into play as well. Okay, I do believe, folks, I really think that I have finished. I like it. The only other thing I'm going to do that I'm seeing, it's going to be kind of wet, is making this a lot lighter on this side. Just a bit more highlighted over here on the right, on my right. Even in some of the dots. Kind of blob, take the wet and blob them like that. And now I'm done. So I really hope you like this, folks. I like the way it came out very much. So this is part 2 of lilacs and hummingbirds. Part 1 was part 1 of lilacs and honeybirds. So, I mean lilacs and hummingbirds. Oh, I love it when my tongue gets all tied. It just really cracks me up. So, all right. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you liked doing it or will like doing it. I hope you do. And also, I hope that at some point somebody shows me something of what they're trying and learning. Don't ever feel as though it's not good enough or anything like that. We all start from the beginning. And we simply all just start from the beginning. So don't ever think like that. I'd love to see your work. And it all takes time. All of these things. There we go. We just want a little lighter area there, a couple places. every part of this takes time. So you have to give yourself that time. You have to allow yourself the time to get to a place where you kind of like what you do. At first, it's simply not really going to happen. You're not going to like it, and you know, you're going to compare yourself to everything. Try not to do that. Try to just give yourself the time that it takes to learn a skill, which happens to be watercolor with a little acrylic for me. But it takes time to practice and learn and practice and learn, whether it's reading, watching, doing. Sooner or later, you'll want to try to apply it. And, you know, the more you practice, the better you'll get, like anything else that you learn and do. So I truly hope you've enjoyed this. Check out my other stuff, folks. There's a lot of cool things and even some discussions about beginner painters and encouraging you to in your painter journey. I really loved the people that encouraged me and still encourage me to this day. I have certain ones that follow me, and I'm very happy and very thankful for them. So my whole thing is definitely trying to encourage you and let you know that it takes time, and to give yourself that time that you need to do this. It's not overnight by any means, so just start from A. You'll end up at Z eventually. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your evening, folks. Bye for now. Bye for now.